What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on in to the Brass Ring Media Podcast. For Tuesday, April 1st, there will be no April Fool's jokes on this show tonight. I can promise you that. We don't play that game here. We play it straight up. No fun zone here on Brass Ring Media. This is the Brass Ring Media Podcast, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it very much. I'm your host, Zach Haydorn. That is your other host over there. His name is Tyler Sage. It's been a bit since we've been together here on the show due to vacations and other happenings in life, but good to be here. Glad you guys are here with us. We got a big show. Tyler, what's going on, man?
Hey, not much. I have no idea, Adam, what you mean by, is this a Beyonce concert? Is it the beautiful 8K camera that is shooting Zach like he is with the correct lighting? Or is me looking like a stagehand that's about to bring out some like giant horse for Zach to ride on or something? So,
oh man, now look, like I'm like, okay, here's the deal. This is not an 8K camera. I wish I could say that I bought this beautiful camera that is doing all these cool things that I'm telling it to do. In fact, it's just doing this. I don't know why. I don't know if it looks good or bad. It's just not normal. I don't like it, and I look weird, but I couldn't figure it out in time for showtime. So that's why I look the way that I do, as silly as it might be. Man, see what happens when we take off a week? Just stuff goes crazy. The cameras change. Everything is bizarre. But thanks for being here, you guys. We took off last week, as I said. I was on vacation in the seeing the mouse down in Disney World with the family. That was insane with a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. So, you know, it's not that I don't recommend it, but it's insane. And like, yeah. I got back on Sunday and was like, damn, I need a vacation from that vacation. And I'm not going to get one. So I'm back, but we got a lot to talk to, man. A lot to talk about. Especially this week, I want to do a lot on John Cena and Cody Rhodes. The last time we talked, we went pretty hard, and I think rightfully so, on kind of where that program stood, where that match stood, just kind of where the feud was and how Cody was doing it and how John Cena was doing in it. And so we're going to spend a lot of time tonight talking about the promo last night and where things stand with that feud coming out of yesterday on Raw and going into WrestleMania, which is less than 3 weeks away at this juncture. But before we get into that, and before we take all your questions, before we just get into the show proper, just take care of some business first. This is the Brass Ring Media Podcast. We're streaming live on the One True Sport YouTube channel. We do this twice a week with this show on Tuesdays and on Thursdays. Thanks so much for being here. If you're on YouTube and you're checking us out, hello. If you're on Twitter, like Eclipse, hello. Thank you for being here. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. We got all sorts of cool stuff going up throughout the week. Brass Ring Media content like this show, our Nocturnal Knockout post shows with Robert, the Kick-Ass podcast on Saturday morning. That's our Brass Ring Media suite of shows. And you can get that live here on YouTube all throughout the week. You can also get all of our live shows as podcasts. Just search Brass Ring Media wherever you get your podcasts, and we pop up, and you can get all of our live shows right with you on the road, on the go, grocery store, gym, work, wherever. You can bring these shows with you and make sure you don't miss anything. If you want to check out what Brass Ring Media membership gets you, and we hope that you do, find us on Patreon. We got a Patreon page there. It's where all of our members go for all the member-only content, which includes a member-only podcast exclusive to members once a week, all of our pay-per-view and PLE review shows, including this weekend's AEW Dynasty event. We'll get into that in a little bit. Full access to our member-only Discord community and so much more. Lots of other perks, especially leading into to WrestleMania here. So it's only $4 to become a Brass Ring Media member. Head over to Patreon right now. Give us a shot. Now's the time to do it. I think you'll really enjoy the content that we produce on a regular basis, and you can get in on all the fun. Brass Ring Media on Patreon, patreon.com/Brass Ring Media. Big shout out to our Brass Ring Media Gold members, Adam, who is in our live chat right now. Adam Kidd, thank you, Adam. Thank you, Sean Pelicta, and thank you, Andrew H. Those are our gold members. We couldn't do it without any of our members, but certainly our gold members help out a ton. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you want to get in on the show today and start shooting the breeze on John Cena and Cody Rhodes and WrestleMania on Raw, the live chat is open and waiting. We got all sorts of fun people in there right now. The conversation is rolling. Adam's in there. Azan's in there. Tracy, hello. Tracy's in there. Clips, Mike, and others. So thank you. Get in on the action. Super chats are open. If you want to send us a super chat with a topic or a question, we love taking the super chats. It's the lifeblood of what we do here at Brass Ring Media. So if you're able to drop us a super chat, please do. And we certainly will make sure to get that question or comment or topic addressed on the show today. All right, Tyler, I thought last night Cody Rhodes and John Cena had a night that they needed to have for this WrestleMania match that they're going to put on, in the main event, night 2, WrestleMania. I thought they had a good night at the office. I thought they finally, I thought they had a very stagnant week. I thought John Cena cut his first heel promo. I love that. I thought it was really good. I thought it set the tone. And then they kind of just treaded water for a good week. And they used up a John Cena appearance to do that. They used up 2 Cody appearances to do that. And they didn't really get anywhere. They didn't answer any questions. They didn't, really cultivate a true issue between Cody and Cena directly. They just kind of treaded water and stayed the course. And I thought they needed more out of Cena's appearances. I still think that, but I thought last night the promo battle was effective in that it really, I thought it drove home that, yeah, okay, Cena turned heel. And yes, he blamed the fans for that a little bit, but the issue is Cody and Cena now. At least they focused on that. What does Cena not like about Cody? What does Cody not like about Cena? What is the issue between those 2 guys that they're fighting over in addition to the WWE World Championship? And I thought they did a really nice job outside of the zingers and the shoot stuff here and the Tony Khan reference and the Vince McMahon. That was all fun. But I thought all of that was kind of bells and whistles around some key storyline points of this is why I did what I did, Cody. And Cena, this is why I don't like that. And you're, a bitch for doing that. And I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania. No, I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania. I thought they drilled it down to to actually promote this fight between these 2. And I think they still have ways to go, but I thought it was a good night at the office to kind of put some kind of direction on this feud. And I thought they did a nice job with that outside of the, we'll get into all the fun jabs and things that they brought up. But besides all that, I thought this was a night that the feud itself really needed to help carry 3 more weeks of build into WrestleMania.
Yeah, I would say first on that, I like last week too. I think more than most. So okay. I just want that on the record.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. We didn't have a show. So yeah.
I thought that was Cena not being as shooty, but being hey, this is my mission statement as a heel. I'm going to ruin wrestling because, you guys deserve wrestling to be ruined by me, who you've never loved, right? So I thought that was more of week 1 was the more, if you want the realistic reason of why he did it, and then week 2 is more the heelish reason.
Yeah.
I think Cody was even on both weeks. Cody's best week was this week by far, but he was given the most to do. So yeah, on this week, yeah, I mean, it's fun, right? It feels like an AEW promo a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It feels if you take world title stories, and this is not a slight on either company. I like where we are. I like that they kind of swap back and forth. Obviously, we had blood on the show too.
Right?
Which is crazy. But it's Moxley and Swerve feels more like a WWE world title story for a non-major pay-per-view. And, this feels like I don't know. Who am I thinking of here? MJF taking the title off of Adam Page or something when that happened. That sort of story where you're shooting back and forth, etc. So, and I like that to happen for both companies, and I enjoyed last night's, yesterday afternoons.
Afternoons, yeah.
Promo a lot. I'm curious. Do you know where the next where the next Raw is? I know it's in back in the States.
I think it's in Minneapolis or Minnesota.
Okay. Well, good wrestling town for sure.
Yeah.
How much does like U.S. audiences take from the European audience on stuff? Because like that,
Yeah.
it's funny. You can like shave off 8 minutes on like every Cena thing over in Europe because of all the chanting and everything. So I'm curious what that means going forward. I guess my biggest takeaway, and we'll get into like the nitty gritty of each part of the promo, is for me, and he was referenced obviously by Cody, but I don't think we see Dwayne until September or until April 20th. Do you feel any differently about that? The way that the story is being constructed?
I hope
unless he's been promoted. I thought he was like originally like Elimination Chamber. I thought he was promoted for this Raw, and then they kind of backtracked if I have that right. But to me, he's there the night of, but I don't think he's like involved in the story because they are purposely doing as little as they can about The Rock, because I think he's going to be a bigger part of Phase 2 of this story. You know, like a Marvel movie. He's the big bad that comes later, not Loki and the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting point. So, I just don't know. Like, so reportedly, John Cena's not advertised for any other appearances between now and WrestleMania. So, I just assumed that The Rock would be there, like in a couple of those slots, whether it's a SmackDown appearance or a Raw appearance or one of each, to like get this over the finish line. I don't know what you do with Cody Rhodes for 3 more weeks. Like if Cena's not there and Rock's not there. So I certainly hope he's going to be there. I think he needs to be there beforehand. Now, I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I think that would be bad for this feud if he's not there.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't think that would be a good way to transition out of a good segment here, because you name drop The Rock, you took out Cena. Rock can come in now and kind of give his, I don't know, do whatever Rock is going to do. But I think you need him. I think you need him before that. So, yeah. Wait, what do you? I'll throw the question back at you. I mean, what do you do if you don't have The Rock and if you don't have John Cena? What do you do with Cody for 3 weeks? I mean, they've got 6 shows.
Yeah, I mean, it's like seems impossible, right?
Yeah,
that you would like if that was the case. I think they would have like had Cena at the 2-hour mark of the show be involved in something where Cody gets obliterated.
That's right, exactly.
You might write him off the show for a week or 2 at least, and then Cody can come back bandaged up and do a rah, back me up as I roll into battle speech where, or you have to reveal if there is a third member of this group, you have to reveal who that is, and they have to make Cody's life a living hell.
Right.
And I just don't think anyone is worth it that isn't that, there's nobody that is worth doing that to that doesn't already have a match at WrestleMania, right? Like, Where are you going? You're going like, it's not good if whoever you're adding and you're taking away from their match. So I'd be absolutely shocked. It's probably one of those things. I don't know what Cena's schedule is. I don't know. Dwayne hasn't started shooting that Scorsese movie in Hawaii.
I don't think so.
So that's probably right after Mania, if I had to guess. Oh, we'll see what happens with that. But maybe in the fall, probably a little hot in the summer to film there. But yeah, so it just seems like impossible to me because I don't have like anything where that I could. You can get 1 week where he's not interacting with them, but that's like a SmackDown episode to just get by. But yeah, I mean.
Well, and like it'd be another thing too. It'd be different if, if you had a better Rhea Ripley program going on, or if you had a better, Jay Gunther program going on. Although we'll get to that in a minute too. You could lean on these other things, but like you don't. So this is like your big thing. So yeah, that'd be that would be a miss. I think if they don't have Rock on. Yeah. What did you think about the content of Cena's explanation for like when Cody asked him like, hey, why did this happen? Like give us something, give us the why. And I thought like he did a nice job of like running down why he did what he did, and I think that all makes sense. Did you like that though? Did you like the explanation that he put forth? Are you like buying that, or would you have preferred just no explanation altogether?
Yeah. I mean, it was not the strongest part of the promo, but not the weakest part either, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're going through it, I have to like go back and in my brain and think what it was. It's more about, yeah, I mean, like that's more of a generic like legend coming back and taking on a current full time guy. That's not like exclusive to John Cena in the story, right? That's like if Cody's hammering him for being in Hollywood and leaving everyone behind, right? That was the
Mm-hmm.
equivalent of like the heel doing that in that equation. So it's fine. I do like they talk about their personal not issues but personal history with each other. I think that
Yeah.
worked way better for John Cena to look like a jerk by calling him his chauffeur.
The chauffeur line, that was good.
Yeah.
I thought that was good too. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like better than any of the like. Yeah, I mean, you stole everything from me because he's like not John Cena at all. I guess that's where it falls flat for me. Of like, I mean, I guess he is like phony, and that is like John Cena. But like, if Cena's gonna do that, I would like him to be like, yeah, I was phony the entire time, and I can see it in you. Like, you feel like I always felt, and that's why you're gonna eventually do what I'm about to do. Like, be more explicit about that.
Mm-hmm.
Of being like, hey, the wise, like when someone's 15 years older than you at like a job, and they're like telling you like what to do and don't do, and you're like, what do you know, old man? And then you get to be 10, 15 years older, and you're like, oh, that random ass guy was right about a couple of things. That's
how Cena could. That's how Cena could tie back into The Rock, because Cena was that guy once before too, like with Rock being like, hey, you're not here full time, blah blah blah. I'm the guy, and now he's right in that spot also. So I mean, like you could tie The Rock into it really easy, just with that itself. And I think that you could get a lot of heat for that if you're a John Cena. Mm-hmm. Like I think that there's some heat there. But go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, I mean that's the big thing about that. That's why I mean there's just got to be like 2 more Cena appearances minimum, in my opinion. So it's probably just working out like, hey, what weeks work better? Because he was in Budapest filming. I think he was back and forth, so it was easier to get to Europe and not like he's probably not going to Minneapolis, but
yeah.
Where were we before? I mean, probably somewhere close-ish. It's like Salt Lake City or like Phoenix or something. I think they're in Phoenix at some point here. So I guess that's Double or Nothing's in Phoenix. So, but yeah, I mean, you just need him there to finish that part of it and explain that. But I mean, honestly, for me, I think for most people too, like you need the story to like. I need one more thing, but I mean, I'm ready for this. It's going to be a total. Like if you like last year, I think you're gonna love this year. You might not like the result, but it's gonna be a lot of shenanigans going on in this match. So, and maybe do you want to like tease who's there and not there, screwing over Cody and helping Cody? Like you could also, I guess that would be my argument. If Cena's not there, do you have allies appear to be like, hey, Cody, I got your back if they try to pull anything? That's like the one. That's like the one thing, it happened last year, but it's nice to know like who is and isn't. And like let's say Randy Orton, he's like night 1 and he beats Kevin Owens. It'd be nice if he's like, hey, Cody, I got your back tomorrow. I won tonight. I'm feeling good. And then like he gets taken out by a mysterious figure on Sunday. So you just have like that dread creeping in of like, oh, no, it's like
it's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, if you want to tell that story, you can do that in this next 3 weeks. If you don't have Cena, that's just not the read I get currently on the story.
What did you think of the Vince AW references? I thought the line on Vince was clever. I would not use it all the time, and WWE like goes overboard with that kind of thing regularly. So I'm not advocating for Vince McMahon references, but I think if there was a spot to do it, this was the spot. It's for a big match, big stars. It's Cena. It's WrestleMania. Break it out. It's cool. I thought Cena's line about Cody stealing money from billionaires' kids when he makes money for the billionaires. I thought that was like I thought that was a heck of a line too. And you know me, I'm not usually like a meta promo guy when it comes to that. But I did enjoy those lines. I thought that did add some sizzle to the overall promo and like the overall just tension between the two of them.
Yeah. Is that the most explicit reference to AEW ever in WWE.
Yeah, except for like Triple H calling it a pissant company at the Hall of Fame. I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, of like on broadcast television, not
Yeah,
like
I think it is.
some. So it's interesting. I'd love that if I'm Tony Khan. But on the Vince thing, like I would just say his name too, if you really want to get it.
There you go. Yeah.
I think that would have been like, it's like, ooh, but imagine if Cody's like, well, yeah, Vince isn't here to push you, shove you down our throats. Like he always like, it's like,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
like Cena was saying gimmick. Was that this week or last week? I think it was this week. Like he said gimmick and he said face and heel before. So it's like, hey, you totally just like, if that's what you're going to do, like destroying the business. Because like his angle to destroy the business could be like break kayfabe, like live there on air. And it'd be like, obviously I'm against that, but is that the ultimate heel move? To be like, hey, bud, I'm scheduled to win. So you coming out here flapping your gums.
See, like that would be too far for me. I'd be like,
oh yeah, for sure.
What?
It's like they're on a razor's edge on that currently.
Yeah.
Saying gimmicks and face and heel, and I mean that's like a true way to like if you want to kill wrestling, that's the only way to actually kill wrestling, right? Is
to openly,
But it's so weird. Like explain that to somebody who doesn't watch. It'd be like, well, that's true. It's fake and predetermined. Well, yeah, but the characters can't say that. It'd be like, I guess, winking a nod during a movie, but even some people do like that too. So,
Yeah, but
what was your original question? I'm sorry. I think I just totally derailed.
No, you answered. It was just about like the AEW reference and the
I mean, it's fun. And like the crowd being, London, I mean, geez, like Chicago, London, Philly, New York City. Or is that like your top 4 cities to get like the hardest core? Like, was there one child in that crowd? That's when it's like going to be a red hot crowd when there's not one single person under the age of like 22 in that crowd.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
I can afford that ticket. I assume that was a crazy ticket.
Well, that's the thing. I think like that is the big point is that you have ticket prices that are like insane. And like, I'll take my daughter to a White Sox game that's, $12 a ticket because we want to go to a baseball game, right? I would not pay, I would pay for myself to go see, like if I was a Cubs fan, I would go myself to see a Cub game for $100, right? But I would not pay $100 for my daughter to go because, you only watch so much of the game and you're moving around, you're getting like pop, whatever, you're just doing other things. And I think that like WWE is running into that where it's like, all right, I want to go to this show, but I'm not going to like bring my family of 4 to a, where I got to shell out, $1,000 for tickets. Like you're not doing that with your kids. At least I would. Maybe shame on me, I guess, but that, not happening. And sidebar, man. Okay. SmackDown is in Chicago on Friday and they're sold out. The ticket prices are like insane to go to the show. If you want to go to and sit in one of the worst seats in the house at Allstate Arena, it's like $250. Worst seat.
How much?
SmackDown.
Say it again.
$250
for like. Was there 3? Is there a 300 section or is it
2? There's only 2 levels.
Yeah, but still like a 20,000 seat arena. So yeah, you're like where you like feel like you're gonna have vertigo, like that high up there.
You're high, and this one's behind so they've got the small stage. They have the small stage, so it's like the short little screens, and so they got seats above it, behind it. That's $250, man. Like for $250, it's crazy. Like I just, it's just again, if if tickets were like $50, okay, maybe I'd bring my daughter, maybe we'd go or whatever. $250, like there's no way.
Yeah. Also, like, what do you like? What are you going to see?
That's what,
like you're gonna see like CM Punk talk to Paul Heyman, maybe, which is cool, but
maybe
we're gonna see CM Punk, but yeah, I don't know what you're gonna see like in ring that you'd be excited about for SmackDown this week,
right? Or like I don't know if they were promoting The Rock or I mean, even if they were promoting The Rock, like I still don't think you paid $250 for those seats, but they're getting it. I mean, they're sold out, so Someone's paying for these things. All right, let's go to the chat real quick and check out what everybody's talking about. Talk to some of our gold members here. Adam Kidd says the stealing from a billionaire's son line was stiff. I thought they both were excellent and glad Cody addressed The Rock. Me too. What did you think about Cody? We talked a lot about Cena, but Cody, you mentioned this, like, was his best night. I thought it was his best night too. I just thought that he was out there not letting stuff happen like to him. He wasn't just sitting there getting talked to like a teenager in trouble. He was like a grown adult babyface world champion, like going up against, another top guy. And he looked the part of a top guy and he talked like it and he held his own. And he, just when the crowd was about to go one way, maybe with Cena, like he pulled him back over. And I think that's a skillful performer. And I think, you finally saw like a little bit of oomph out of him. And I like that a lot.
I thought it was like the most human he's been in character, maybe in his entire sense, like the pec tear, right? Because you can't not be human and be like, hey, look at this, man. Like, I'm gone after this.
I'm so screwed.
Yeah. So, and that was good. Like, I was really worried because his first rebuttal, I'm trying to remember Cena went hard for a minute on him. And like Cody's first rebuttal was like, hey, they chose me, like the crowd, instead of like Vince. I was like, oh God, man, I don't know about this. And then he like definitely, they was like they were cheering for John Cena, and then he pulled him back, like you said. I can't remember exactly what he did, but it was good, and it was what you want to see out of a modern babyface world champion, not just like something that John Cena never did as a babyface, right?
Right.
Like at that peak of that power. And that's something I wish he would have said explicitly as well. Because they're explicit on a lot of stuff, but not the important stuff for like the legacy of this. And like that would probably be something that would be on the video package before the match. If he said, I mean, he did say it too explicit. I guess he did, where they chose me and they never did that for you. Like they were not forced. They actually chose me. So I guess in that same line, I liked the delivery of it and what it said. It just like was a little corny, Cody style to get there. So, but yeah, I mean, he was strong and he felt even with Cena. I think the timing of it was good too. Just like the structure of the layout of it, where he came out and interrupted John Cena. And
almost instantly too.
Yeah, which is good because it changed like the dynamic of, hey, the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's A and then it's B and then it's C, right?
Yeah.
This changed it up, which I thought helped him out as well from a formatting standpoint. And it made me think The Rock was going to appear as like the sizzler at the end of this thing, which helped keep the anticipation level high. So I thought that was really smart the way they crafted that.
Yeah, I agree. So Andrew, our gold member Andrew H says here, should Cody have gotten the better of Cena and left him laying? So we did have some physicality here for the first time between these two, or well, outside of the the Elimination Chamber angle. But Cody got a little retribution here. Do you think that's given too much away too early on this, or like did fans need a little something from Cody to kind of rejigger some energy into their kind of investment in him? I see what you're saying on this, Andrew, of like you want that to be the payoff, like Cody hitting that move on Cena to eventually be the payoff on this whole deal. The only thing is, I don't think he's going to win. So like, I think that Cena's taking that title. So I think I think that was done to like keep Cody really strong, like going into this, so that A, Cena beats him, but B, so you have this notion that you've seen Cody do it, because he's not going to do it at WrestleMania successfully. So I think it's more of that than it is doing it too early. What do you think?
Yeah, I didn't mind them getting physical at this point. It's the third time we interacted. And Cody, it was more important that Cody was like, hey, no, you're not leaving. Get in here. And like kind of squared up to him first, which is not really the most babyface thing to do, but this version of Cena, it makes sense. The part I didn't like, and they can explain this away, but it was like, one crossroads and John Cena is dead. now that can be John Cena like trying to get in the head of Cody, like, oh, if you hit one, I'm dead, and Cody getting like a false sense of security, where Cody needed like 3 crossroads to beat AJ Styles, like 10 months ago. So I mean, we don't want to do power levels in wrestling. That's where you get pretty messy pretty quickly. But I think that he needs to explicitly or unexplicitly say like, yeah, you're not that strong, kid. And I was faking that for you, which would get more into the kayfabe breakingness of it all.
I don't know.
But so that part I thought was very, very strange. The way that Cena decided to sell that, or that's what they did. So, but yeah, as Adam says in the chat, it's kind of like a role reversal. And I did watch. It's been a long time since I watched Hogan and Rock at 18, WrestleMania 18. That is. Sorry, I don't want to totally tangent that here, but
no, do it. I want to hear this. I want to hear this for sure.
That match, like, I mean, I'm like a bell-to-bell guy more than anything. That match is rough. It is really long, and when you watch it as an adult, you're like, it took them a lot longer than it should have to like switch roles, in my opinion.
Interesting.
So maybe with hindsight and then like it being talked up and watching it as a kid, that's one that my parents bought. I remember that, so that was a big deal. And then maybe once or twice since before I'm in my mid-30s watching it. So it just reminded, like, because this Cody and Cena thing reminded me of a little bit of, the crowd really getting behind Cena, who is literally probably the same age as Hulk Hogan was in that match. And
that's crazy.
And it had a lot of similarities. I don't think Cody's leaving the company. If MJF was taking on John Cena, I think that would be exactly the same match if MJF was in there. But yeah, it was just interesting. Yeah, so
I need to go back and watch that match. I haven't seen it in.
Yeah, it's like it feels like it's. I mean, it's probably 40 minutes, like from video package to ending.
It is not 40 minutes, really.
It's long. It's the co-main.
Oh my god,
co-main. Yeah. So it's like that show's like 3 hours and 40 minutes on Peacock. It starts at like 225, 235, somewhere in that range. So.
Wow, that's long. Yeah. Okay. Well, now I'm gonna go back and watch that. Maybe we'll talk about it on the member show this week, because that you can clip that match down, and they have to moments. And when I think about that, I'm like
awesome like that.
It's just and I'm like, wow, like, was this like in my head? I'm just like, oh yeah, this was like a magical match. Cody says it's the best match, his favorite match ever. Because of the crowd, but that's interesting. Yeah,
it's also like my preference on. I'd much rather watch like Okada and Omega than that match. But some people would be like the exact opposite and would much rather watch that match. So I get that too. So that's like I want to lay that out there.
Interesting. Sean, our gold member, Sean Plicta, says, yeah, the promo with John Cena and Cody was fantastic. Cody's been great this whole time. Saying Cena was the company guy was awesome. Also says here, I'll hang in there for Team Cody. And then lastly, Sean says here, you don't want a ton of physical stuff, so I think it worked. I still don't know who's winning, and that's good. You can go either way. Andrew, your point is fair, though. Andrew, if you're in the live chat, talking about Cena winning, clearly.
Okay, I was like, what was Andrew's point? Here we go.
Basically this. In a loud, clear voice, I'm Team Cena and would hand him the shovel to bury Cody. Wow.
Yeah. I think people
chat today.
You can't bring a shovel into Allegiant Stadium.
Illegal.
But you could definitely bring like cardboard shovels because it's like a sign. So if there's like a whole section of people in the front that have shovels and try and hand them to John Cena to bury Cody, I think that would be very fun. And I'm with Andrew. I will pledge a shovel to John Cena as well.
Do you think that there's a risk of a Hogan-like turn for Cena at WrestleMania with Cody? Like, do you think that that's in the cards based on what you've seen so far?
Say that again.
Like, do you think that there's a chance of Cody Cena playing out the way Rock Hogan did? in terms of crowd reaction, and in terms of like Hogan the heel going in, turning completely, you know, at on the night of.
Oh, man.
Based
Yeah.
on what you've seen so far in the
Yeah. I'd say there's like a 15 to 20% chance. It just depends. Like, it's like a groundswell. It's probably a good thing they're not in an arena. They're in a stadium, so the sound does not travel as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a roof on. It's like it's not open air, right? That's a dome.
There's a roof, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that lessens my like an outdoor like Philly, the sound right up, right? But like I was at SummerSlam in Detroit, and that felt more like an arena show from the crowd volume standpoint. Still a little disjoined, but it's Cena's. I don't think, as I've said earlier on, I've seen this sort of trickle through too. Like, can Cena go through to WrestleMania 42 as champion? Yes, money talks. He's a heel; he can lie. But yeah, I mean, if that's what you think, it's his last WrestleMania. He's in this epic main event. He's going to win the 17th world title, and you're there to see it live. Like, you and I were both wrong about like people in Europe. Oh, they're going to be excited to see John Cena.
Yeah.
No matter what. So like, I could be dead wrong about this too. But like in the moment, if you get enough people going and then it spreads like a virus and you realize like, man, this is Cena's last WrestleMania. He's probably going to win the 17th world title in front of me and I get to see it. You got to have like a lot going on here to combat that. So I do think most people that are in that arena are the type of fans that want to like go with the story. So I still think it's like 80-20 that they cheer for Cody, but yeah, certainly an option for the crowd, the diehard fans to be like, this is awesome for real. And like cheer for John Cena.
Yeah. I'm right there too. I think 80-20 is a good place to put it. I mean, you'll see how over Cody is for sure. So that part you'll get.
Will the people in Las Vegas sing Downstate?
Yes, definitely. Okay.
But no one's learned John Cena's rap lyric. So
yes,
that's unfortunate.
So, but like, yeah, I think I'm with you. I think like that crowd is, based on what we've seen so far, is gonna go along with the stuff. They're gonna sing like they'll do a John Cena sucks chant. I was watching some of this in the crowd last night.
They're doing both.
Yeah,
I know. It's like there's that one guy in the very front row who's like,
yes, he was doing both.
He was like half-heartedly doing both. I was like, dude, camera guy, you got to cut away from that immediately.
Right.
But yeah, I'm with you on that 100%.
So it'll be interesting. All right, let's talk a couple other bits of Raw before we ride off into the sunset.
Do we have to?
We have to. Okay. We have to. Let's talk about something bad first that I didn't like. The main event was Rhea Ripley against Io Sky for the WWE Women's World Championship. And while the actual wrestling match lasted, I thought it was fine for what it was. Good little match. And then like complete and utter nonsense happened like for like 4 straight minutes, and it felt like 10 minutes.
Can I ask you a question on this?
Yeah.
Like, of everyone involved in this, who are you like? What do you do? Like, what is going on with you the most? Does that make sense as a question?
No.
Like, who are you the most like disappointed in?
Who am I most disappointed in?
During the main event. I mean, I'm not going to say one of the wrestlers. I'm just giving you like some clearance there of what I'm setting you up for here. But like, who are you most like? What are you doing? Like, in this whole equation?
Well, I mean, Paul Levesque for sure.
Well, I was going to go that meta, but I was going to go kind of meta. So
I like when I was watching, like I couldn't, because here's okay. I'm gonna rant about this now. Okay. You got me in rant mode. So here's the thing. Going in like after they did the, Rhea whines about Bianca Belair and loses her championship because Bianca Belair like got involved in the match. Ever since then, it's like that the triple threat is coming. It's on. So to me, all these different roads that they've gone down of like, okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to fake this contract signing, and then Rhea's going to sign her name on the contract, and then, you know, she's going to attack both of them. And like it all made the characters really, really bad because it's like a story that serves the endpoint rather than like the endpoint allowing the story just play out. Like, it's like, we've decided we want to do this, but we need to take 11 steps to get there because we've got 2 months worth of shows to do. So we're going to do all these different things that make our characters bad just so we can get there. And it's like, that's not good booking. That's not good booking. That's not good storytelling either. It's, if you have the match that you want to do and you do this angle on March 5th or whatever the hell it was, make the triple threat and then build it up as such for 8 weeks. Like, I'm not saying that's the right move, but I'm saying if that's the match, do the angle, announce the match, build the match. Don't do the angle, pretend there's another match, make your top star look really bad and really pathetic and really sad and really beta, and have her whine her way into another match to eventually get to the match that you're trying to get to anyway. I really think that's just nonsensical storytelling and booking at the highest level. Like, it's like, so when you ask me, like, am I saying, hey, what are you doing? That's what I'm saying. It's like, Paul Levesque, Triple H, what is this, man? Like, you wouldn't book like John Cena and Cody this way. You know, you wouldn't book Roman and Seth and Punk this way, even though that kind of went that way. And it's why I'm not a fan of that either.
Yeah, they didn't pussyfoot around though with it.
Right? They didn't. Yeah, they didn't.
Threat.
They just said it's a triple threat. We're all gonna wrestle, and now we're gonna tell that story. This has been like, we're gonna like pretend it's all these other matches and have all of our characters involved look really, really bad, pretending that it's all these other matches, when really it's just the match that everybody thinks is going to be anyway. And last night was like the peak of that. The stupidity of last night's finish was like the reason why you don't do that, because Bianca Belair looked so ridiculous getting just hit by both of them on accident, like 2 times each, and then just disqualifies them. You know, it's just like, this makes no sense. So I hated this. I think this is an absolute mess. And, you know, it's watering down interest in Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley in a singles match eventually as well. So rant over, take it away with whatever you want to say.
Yeah. So conspiracy theory, then I'll get into answering my own question here.
Ooh, exciting.
Like this. If you had to pick a women's title match that you're more interested in at this point, is it this one or is it Charlotte and Tiffany?
No, it's still this one.
Okay, but it's close, right?
It says more about that other match than
yeah.
This
I was saying, like, that's my conspiracy, is that Triple H will do anything for Charlotte Flair. So this is his way to bury everything else to make Charlotte look somewhat decent as a character. And
hey, look, that's as good of an answer as any, because there isn't a good answer here. Like, no answer makes sense on this. None, zero.
But on that, so last night, I mean, if I'm going to rank like who I'm the most like, what are you doing? You're like, Michael Cole's number one. Him like defending Bianca Belair like incessantly made no sense to me, and like I don't know what it was like. The levels of Jim Ross like shitting on Chris Statlander in her character in 2019 of like, she's an alien. I don't get it. Was like the reverse of that, of being like riding so hard for Bianca, which is obviously being a heel. After that is Bianca, because like, so like, that's like the least. I know they're like, she's probably going to be a heel anyway, which is good for her character. But like in this match, it doesn't really make sense to not have her just pull the trigger already on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like it's a triple threat match, so there's really nothing you can do that's super duper heelish, in my opinion, to make it work. And she's like doing the most heel thing you can do here, which is like call double disqualification in a match that. And, like, is she going to be mad that now that she has 2 opponents when she could have had 1? So she's stupid and a heel, which is never a good combination.
I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
She looked real bad, in my opinion, as a character. I mean, she looked like $1 million bucks.
Gets beat up more than she did in that match times like 10 and doesn't disqualify people. It's like you got hit like twice, like or 4 times. Like, come on.
Yeah. And then Rhea's face like was a meme when that got called. She was like all of us, like, really, we're doing this. Like, that's how I felt watching it.
Yeah.
Io Sky's just like flipping around, breaking her neck for no reason. So, I mean, that was like my hierarchy of like whatever here. I feel like Io, I honestly feel the worst for, because like she's just like a champion for no reason to get buried here, to be the third wheel of a story where she's the champion. Never is good for anyone's long-lasting career. So, yeah, this is a disaster.
Absolute disaster. Yeah.
So, I don't know what they do from here, but if I'm Gunther, I'm like, thank God for this.
Thank God for this. So I asked you last show, you know, normally I think between us on the show doing our job, analyzing the product and talking about it and breaking it down, and the chat doing the same thing, we can figure out, okay, we may not like this, and it may have been bad, but this is why it's being done. I still don't have an answer for that on this one. Like, why go with the triple threat here the way that they're going with it? Like, it just seems to me that if you wanted to do a triple threat, just book that and do it. It's like, it's just this convolutedness. And we've got a chat on this from Sean, who says here, it's just been so convoluted to get there. Reassigning the contract was so dumb. Also, Sean says, Rhea has just acted so terribly. How can you book this so bad? Why was Bianca even the referee? How is that going to help this story? Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what I was saying at the top. Like, they have the triple threat in mind, so of course Bianca has to be the referee, when it's just like, no, she doesn't. You've got like 6 referees back there.
It feels a lot like it's booked like Rhea lost the NXT title and is moving up. And that's like the story here, which like it's being booked like a loser leaves town between Bianca and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
And like Io will take on whoever wins this in Backlash or whatever it's going to be called. But like, why do you book it that way if someone's just going to go to Friday night?
Right. And it's going to be like, they're not going anywhere. So
so that's what this feels like to me, where it's like, hey, you know, leaving the territory, and there's like a convoluted way to get there, and it's kind of protect them, but really it's unsatisfying because that's never an awesome story. That's like the best, most generous way for me to look at it. Because beyond that, it's like Triple H hates 2 of these 3 women at a minimum. And he's like punishing them with some bad booking. This is like, you know, a pie to the face level stuff going on here in a booking decision manner.
In 20 years, we're going to read the Rhea Ripley book and be like, wow, like what, you know?
Yeah. What's her real name? What's her AEW name in a worst case scenario?
Oh, boy.
I'll look it up. Does she have like a good name, or is it like Bridget Jones?
I don't know. Are you looking up her actual name, or are you putting it into ChatGPT?
Demi Bennett. I like Demi, but Bennett. She'd be like
Ripley Bennett,
Demi Riptide or something.
Debbie Riptide. Yeah.
Or Demi Matthews, obviously.
Yeah, there's a lot of heat in this in the chat, and I think rightfully so. Tracy, I love it. Tracy says, rationale? The writers were too busy watching the AEW women's division to do their job. Hey, if they were, they should have like got some tips on how to do this right, because I think the AEW women's division has been a little bit better. But
I'll say, no, that means Raquel Rodriguez is going to be getting a title shot against Io Sky. So let's not go crazy on that.
Yeah, no, WWE writers were too busy watching AEW women's division to do their job. Yeah,
which I like. I like the Megan Bay Tony Storm storyline. I'm just saying the equivalent in WWE.
Yeah, right.
Is doing a Nia Jax story again. So we don't want that.
No, they are, and yeah, I can't figure this one out. Like, I just think that. Thanks so much, Tracy, for the super chat. It means a lot. Appreciate it very much.
Is there any chance, and this is like, I'm not trying to like just like fantasy book to save this, which is kind of what you need at this point. Is there any chance like a Becky can roll in last minute and make this a 4-way match, and that can like put a bandage on this thing.
Well, that would help. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like she's like, I'm tired. You guys are all children.
You guys suck. I'm back.
I'm at home watching an actual child, and she's more mature than the three of you. I'm coming to take my time.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that would help. I mean, I really do. It's like this.
She could win, and everyone can go on their way. You can do Bianca Jade. You can put Rhea on SmackDown, take on Charlotte, and Io can be going for the tag titles against Liv and Raquel.
It works in both matches, honestly. Like I think she could say the same thing in the Charlotte Tiffany match. Yeah. So yeah, I think it should. Andrew H surmising here that Bianca's turning heel at WrestleMania. It could be, but it's like again, nothing's better than just. She could have already turned heel, and you have a huge match at WrestleMania, night one main event. Rhea against Bianca for the title. Boom, done.
She's already a heel. How is she not a heel?
Well,
she's a heel to me. Like in the way that crowd also booed the crap out of her when they showed the three women walking up at the beginning of the show. So the smart fans are in on this already, obviously. But like, I don't know what she could do to turn heel.
She could like help. I mean, she could help Naomi.
Yeah.
Jade. I mean,
but even then, or help Jade take out Naomi. I think that's the more heat.
Or help Jade, yeah.
And then Jade is like a heavy for a champion, Bianca, and then that turning into something. That's what I would do. Subvert it a little bit, but.
Adam, one of our gold members says, "Watch your damn mouth, Tyler. Don't put Raquel out in the universe like that." Adam, thank you.
I agree with him. That's why I did. I also agree with his little heart emoji for Bianca. So she's the best looking ref I think I've ever seen. So
yes, I think that's true. I think that's absolutely true.
Shawn Michaels in '97 too.
So I've picked up along our conversation tonight that you maybe were not high on the Jey Uso Gunther segment for last night. Is this correct?
I mean, it was like comparatively, it was like the best segment they've done in a minute for the story. But
what?
I mean, I don't love like the match is over. Here's a commercial break, and then Gunther comes back like a comic book villain, like in a bad way, right? Like he hid under the ring until the commercial break, and then he took them out. That was.
Oh God. Okay, so I watched on delay. Was that a commercial break?
Yeah. So like Gunther left, and then like Jimmy and Jay are like, Jay's out there because he kind of, saved Jimmy. And then they're like kind of walking back slowly. And then Gunther comes and attacks and then does the whole zip tie thing and all that. And then that was fine. I mean.
But did they actually go to break though?
Yeah. There was like a 2.5 minute break in between there.
Oh, gee. See, like that I missed. That was not in
my
broadcast.
Basically Jay being victorious. And then you see them then walking back when the commercial break comes back and then Gunther comes back. Okay. Got it. So just for me, just from like a filmmaking standpoint, I guess, like the heat that was like a big 3 minutes. Yeah. And the crowd wasn't as into it as like that deserved to be. Like, did Jason Jordan blade for Jimmy? Like, why was Jason Jordan out there? And like, I was like, is he the guy to blade you? I don't know. Like,
there's a social media clip of him actually blading himself under the.
Okay. It was just weird that Jason was out there with like two refs. I was like, was he like a blade guy all of a sudden? But
maybe he may have had the blade. Maybe he had.
Maybe. But yeah, I mean, they're doing all they can, and I give them credit for like trying. But that crowd told you all you need to know. Like, they're already not the main event. You've already downgraded this match for the viewers if you didn't already think it kind of sucked.
This is going to be the opening match on night one. I mean, I think.
Yeah. Is this Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
With less. I was more into that match than this, so that just tells you where these guys are.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to get like a huge entrance. We
like early preview. I don't know what the odds are. I think you can probably still, like, if you're in the UK and can bet on wrestling, I might put some money on Gunther because he's probably the underdog, but I don't know, man. I just don't see what this is post. Maybe if Jay loses that, like, the next night of WrestleMania. You know, the Monday after Raw, maybe CM Punk beats him for the title or something. I don't know. But we're Seth as if Heyman turns, if he's a Heyman guy and he screws over Roman and CM Punk, that's how I would have Seth defeat Jay the next night and him be the dominant world champion. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. But if that's what this gets to, that's fine. But that totally just tells me this is the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, there was nothing about this last night that changed its position on the card or its importance to the show or anything like that. I don't think it did that, but I do think it just finally made it like more of a real wrestling feud. Like, and from the perspective of Gunther more than anything, like he finally looked like a lethal killer out there, like a lethal killer heel. Like finally, like it's like, dude,
from Jimmy slapping him last week and then not doing anything about it. I was like, did Rhea and like Gunther both crap in each of Triple H's shoes?
Right. I'm like, wait, this Gunther character wouldn't just let Jimmy Uso of all people slap him in the face. Like, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I think he got some of that back this week. And that's good. The blood was, elevated things a little bit. And my argument going into on why this was so bad a couple weeks ago was just that like Jimmy is just flat. He's got nothing to fight against. And now he has more of that. He's got his brother on his side. I mean, I don't know if Jimmy is going to get a WrestleMania payday, but he deserves one for the beating that he took for his brother yesterday. Like that was some, like I can hear the pitch backstage. All right, Jimmy, you're going to have this match. And then you need your ass kicked. And we need this. We need this out of you, man. We need this. And he delivered.
Remember, we didn't fire you after the 4th DUI. So you're going out
right. There. Remember that. Now you owe us. So you're going to take this beating. And I thought that worked well.
We get you into Canada somehow. So you're going to blade for us, pal.
So it worked to that end. But you're right. I don't think it changed anything. But I think for Gunther, like this was more for him more than anything. Jay is going to be Jay. He's going to have that entrance. People are going to be behind him. But win or lose at WrestleMania, you got to have Gunther like that's valuable to you as a booker, as a company. And he just hasn't been in this build. And I think he found some of that mojo last night. And I thought the blood worked well. So I'm glad they broke it up.
Is the sun going to be out or not out when this match happens at WrestleMania? They're on Pacific time.
The sun is going to be out.
Yeah, so that hurts that entrance big time. So
yeah. I don't know what they're going to do with that. Yeah,
don't romanticize this Jay entrance.
It'll be like
4
like
local
Sting at WrestleMania 31, where it's like bright sunlight.
Yeah,
Jesus. Oh my God, that was horrible.
Mannequin T1000s for some reason.
Very strange. That was so strange, and it's like if there's ever a time you need darkness, it's the one time Sting makes a WrestleMania entrance and it's bright as it can be. It's just terrible. All right, last topic. We have our triple threat match on the men's side of things official. Roman Reigns is going to face Seth Rollins and CM Punk in a triple threat. It's going to be the main event of night one. We saw them all sign on the dotted line on SmackDown on Friday night. And they make a big deal about Punk getting his WrestleMania main event. And Punk, though, also says that, hey, you thought this was the favor, but this is not the favor. I don't love this match. You guys know that. I think this is a silly match to do unless they put some stakes behind it. Like, I just think that you have too much star power in this for it to mean nothing in the main event of WrestleMania. And right now, I mean, yes, obviously, whatever. Competitive spirit, bragging rights, all of that. That's all there. But this is the main event of WrestleMania, and these are 3 of your biggest stars on the show. Arguably 3 of your top 4. If you put, Cody.
You have your full-time guys, yeah.
Your full-time guys. I mean, this is three of your top four guys, and if you take out Roman, your top three guys that are here on a weekly basis, and they're wrestling for nothing in the main event against each other. I don't like that. So that said, they have a long way to go to like win me over on this. I think I like the tension between the three of them. I like the drama. I like, look, they've done the job in kind of building, blocks of stories between each guy, Roman and Seth, Roman and Punk, Punk and Seth. That's there. I think they've actually done a very nice job of that. But I still think that this match needs stakes. And I think that you probably want those stakes to come in the form of whatever Punk's favor is. And, I think that they're just they're a couple like storyline beats away from making this really main event worthy for as much star power is in the match. So it is what it is. This is the match that they're doing. I just don't think it's a good use of resources. And to really win me over, they have to put something behind this. Have you liked what they've done on this? And what do you think the favor is going to be?
Yeah, I've liked this less than the Cena Cody stuff in totality. Doesn't mean I don't like it. I like the contract signing. I think everything before that was like teasing to get to the contract signing, so it was kind of inconsequential. Paul Heyman is the MVP of that segment for me. Yes. So yeah, it's been. I mean, you're certainly correct. There's no way this can't have something attached to it in one way, shape, or form. As the first night last year had a multi-man match that meant something for the second night. I don't want whoever wins this to get thrusted into that, but it should certainly be a number one contendership at their choosing. Night after Raw, or the night after the Raw after WrestleMania, SummerSlam main event, whatever, right? And that's not something you have to do all the time, so you don't have to worry about like setting a precedent. But it certainly would be important to do that, and it's easy to do, and they have plenty of time to do it. One thing I'm worried about is the relationship of Paul, Heyman, and Roman, because Roman could, after that, the kayfabe could have just been like, "Hey man, what's the favor? Can you tell me, please? Like, what the hell is going on here?" Right?
Yeah,
Trust is broken. So that's obvious, an important thing that they'll play out here. But yeah, and I don't know what it is. Do you think they know what it is, the favor? Because I think they still don't know what it is for sure. As a story beat, I think they're holding that, and it might not even be revealed. This might be a longer story. Like if like whoever's not versus Cena after WrestleMania, the favor will probably affect that person as like the B story in the company. If the Cena story is the A story, that's kind of my thing.
Do you think that Punk saying that as they went off the air, is that like a tease? Is that a hook where like, okay, so now they're going to pay this off before WrestleMania, and like they're going to, on SmackDown this week to talk about what it is? Or is it just reminder, this is actually not the favor?
If they do, then it's a stipulation for that match. If they don't, then it's like something that leads to a singles match between CM Punk and Roman Reigns down the line at SummerSlam that makes a lot of sense and makes it a number one thing, and then makes somebody else face John Cena in that spot for the title. So, if you get to like, if Seth doesn't turn heel on both of them, maybe you get Seth and John Cena, and maybe you can bring back Brock Lesnar. You can recreate that Royal Rumble triple threat.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I think like if this doesn't get played out until June, I think you'd be right and be like, they had no idea, when they brought this up, what it was going to be. Of course, if they paid off on Friday, then, I think you look back and go, okay, they had some idea, especially if it's in the form of a stipulation for the WrestleMania match, which I still think this needs.
Yeah. Especially when, is it in the segment where Punk kind of no-sold like the tribal chief thing? And like his importance of like the favor was so Roman could get the match with Solo and be the tribal chief and kind of retire that angle. And Punk here being like, it doesn't really matter. You were just like dealing with your stuff in the in-between. Essentially is what he said, right?
Yeah, I wanted my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like interesting to sell it in that way of like, hey, like I didn't care at all if you won or lost and what you did with that. I just wanted my favorite. It's an interesting take on it, not a babyface take on it. It's funny too because like Roman's not a babyface at all. Like
No.
he's not worried about his cousins getting beat down every week. He is not changed at all. You know, just
That's
him as
very true.
at the beginning of the promo, he's like such a heel. And then CM Punk is like, I don't give a F about you, man. I just want my one thing, and I'm going to cry when I get my main event finally. And Seth is the only one speaking truth to power, and he's going to be the heel in this whole thing. So I guess that's where I am on it, and I don't even like hate that. It's just like funny. That's how wrestling works. And like I'm also cheering for John Cena, who's a total heel in the moment. So I'm a hypocrite. I will admit that here.
They got to give this something. I'm not, if they put a good stipulation in this and a good prize at the end of it or something.
I mean, like I kind of ruined it with my fantasy booking, but like right now it's like the winner gets like a title shot at like the Raw after. Let's say they're all Raw guys, technically, I guess.
Elite, yeah.
So like whoever that match happens first, and maybe it's like, hey, at the end of the show, it's like whoever wins this gets to take on Gunther, gets to take on Jay the night, on Monday.
On Monday, sure. I think that at least puts some sort of value on this.
Yeah. And then whoever wins that, too, like, okay, Jay's a one-night champion. And then you can subvert that, right? Or if Jay does win, then you're like, oh, man, he won the Rumble against all odds. Yeah. He won the title with odds. And then he retained the title against the odds, right? That's like an interesting story I think would be bad. But, if CM Punk wins the main event of WrestleMania to get a title shot and then loses to Jay because Roman screws him over in that main event, that makes more sense to me as like the favor was done, but now whatever. I mean, Seth winning it, I think is the best case scenario, and then winning the world title and going back. That's the only time that title's mattered, when it was on Seth's waist. Yeah. So there's options there, and that story can unfold. So I think there's still like a possibility for this to be okay. But this, way better than the women's story, triple threat.
Yes. Well, right, and I think that this too. There's certainly they've kept the door open for any one of them to win the match. Like, I mean, you make a good case for Seth, but I think you can make a good case for Roman. You can make a good case for Punk too. Yeah. And that's good. That's what you want. And they still have 3 weeks. They still have 3 weeks to go. Sean says here they've built to the match very well, but I don't like the triple threat. Roman almost just feels like a third wheel right now. What do you thought about the dynamic between the three, like Punk, Seth, Roman? I feel this a little bit the same way. Not so much in that like he's not coming across as a big star, but it's like Roman has been like the focal point of WrestleMania for 4 years now, like straight. I mean, before that too, but like post-pandemic, it's been all Roman driving like interest in your WrestleMania main event.
WrestleMania 30 to WrestleMania 41, he's in 7 of the 11 main events.
He's in 7. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. Hogan didn't even do those numbers.
31, 32, 33, 34, 37, 38, 39, 40. So 8.
8 of 11. Like Hogan didn't even main event 8 of the first 9 WrestleManias, and then he left the company.
Yeah. 8 of 11, and one of them they didn't was pandemic WrestleMania, and the other one he had cancer for.
So he would have. Yeah. I mean, to me, like Seth is the third wheel in this equation thus far. And that's kind of what I was pointing out of like, not that he's being like boxed out, but he's like the one not taking crazy pills or not taking ego pills, it seems. And like, that's why his character to me feels off in this situation where like Roman is Roman and he's wanting to prove that he's Roman and like swat these gnats away essentially is his character's motivation. CM Punk's motivation is like, I want a main event more than anything. I'm like selling my soul to do it. Maybe. And which would be awesome. It'd be huge business.
Yeah.
But and Seth is like you both are the antithesis of like this company. Essentially, right?
Yeah.
And like not that he's here to stop them, but he's way more Cody in like a white meat babyface form than these two, and it feels disjointed. Maybe I'm perfect.
Avenue for Heyman to join Seth after all this is said and done.
Yeah, I mean that's the most interesting way to go about it, and that's like a little swervy on purpose, but from like a meta narrative, like Seth is a good promo. He's not a great promo, right? Kind of like Roman. And it'd just be so interesting to see like Paul, and just for like the quiver for Paul Heyman to get over literally everybody's ever touched.
Yeah,
and that's like I'm like down to elevate Seth in that way.
Yeah.
And of these three, like that's the most opportunity for big matches in the next 3 years is to elevate Seth more than you can really elevate Roman and CM Punk much more, but you can still elevate Seth a little bit.
Yeah, and then you can do like a huge Seth Punk match too for the title,
and a huge Seth Roman match,
like a huge Seth Roman match. Yeah,
it's crazy. There's been like we even looked up the one time the like lack of times they've one-on-one with each other in like the last 8 years. So
yeah,
they've been saving that for a reason.
For sure, and they've made it into something big. You know, like they really have. If they want it to be, and again, I think your Punk Seth trilogy match, you know, means more too. If it's got the title on the line, you got Heyman over there. So yeah. All right, you guys. Whoops. Let's call it a day. We'll call it a day. Thanks so much for everybody who tuned in. If you watched on YouTube, if you listened to our podcast, if you watched on Twitter, thank you. Make sure you're heading over to Patreon to check out our membership tiers and our options for becoming a Brasserie Media member. We've got really good stuff, really good perks, really good content. So check it out. Patreon.com/Brasserie Media. We thank our Gold members, Sean Plickta, Andrew H., and Andrew Kidd. Thank you to Tracy, who gave us a very generous super chat tonight. We appreciate it all. So we will see you all on Thursday, and we will do a full AEW Dynasty preview. We'll preview that. We'll talk AEW. We'll talk this week's Go Home episode of Dynamite and tons more. So Dynamite will be a heavy focus, and AEW will be a heavy focus on Thursday's show. So don't miss it. Tyler, any final words?
Yeah. Adam said, "Who's Andrew Kidd?"
Yeah, did I say Andrew?
I did. I didn't get it either until he texted, until he read it.
It's been a long night. Adam,
we're fusing gold members into platinum members. So who's going to fuse with Sean here?
Yep. Have a good night, Andrew Plickta. We appreciate you.
Yeah. You guys are the ultimate triple threat match. You guys could main event WrestleMania, the three of you.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Sorry, Adam. Thank you. All right, guys. We will talk soon. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday evening. We'll see you next time. Later.